I just want to bring up a quick tweet that the president just sent out earlier this morning. He was up early tweeting about what's at stake here. And this is what he said. The fact that I'm having a meeting is a major loss for the U.S., say the haters and losers. We have our hostages. Testing, research, and all missile launches have stopped. And all these pundits who have called me wrong from the beginning have nothing else they can say. We will be fine. This coming off of a very awkward G7 meeting, and there's a lot of questions here, Ambassador, of how this could actually affect these negotiations in Singapore. Is the U.S. coming here with a show of confidence or the opposite?
Well, the president exudes a lot of confidence, but I think he comes in with very uncertain standing in the international community after trashing our allies during the G7 meeting. So it may convince the North Koreans that he needs an agreement more than they do. And I think that's been a problem all along. Agreeing to the summit, I think, was a risk worth taking, but going into this without full confidence that they're really ready to denuclearize means we may have a real breakdown when this summit takes place in a few hours.
Why do you think the U.S. is so keen on making enemies with its traditional allies like Canada now and making friends with enemies like Kim Jong Un? Is there a method to the madness?
Well, I'm not sure I can see a real method here. The president clearly has had a chip on his shoulder about our allies, or as he would say, our so-called allies, which goes back to well before he was president. He really has this notion that they're taking advantage of us. And there are some elements of his criticisms that are valid. It's, the burden sharing within the NATO alliance could be a hell of a lot better. But at the same time, we gain a lot through the trade relationships that we have with our allies. There's more European investment in the United States than there is American investment in Europe. So it's a little puzzling why he would want to burn these kinds of bridges by behaving as he did at the G7 summit in Canada.
Ambassador, looking ahead to the next few hours, it's clear that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo wasn't equipped to handle those reporter questions talking about the definition of denuclearization. When you heard that there was silence or avoidance, was that cause for concern for you that we really wouldn't be getting anywhere today?
Very much. That's been my concern for some weeks. Yes, we have gotten some experts face-to-face with the North Koreans for the last 5 or 6 days, but I understand it's been really slow going in getting the North Koreans to agree to anything that would meet our definition of real denuclearization, and whether they're ready to do it in a rapid fashion is even more uncertain. I think there's a danger here that we may have some kind of airy-fairy declaration that doesn't really mean anything, and Kim Jong Un walks away with his status enhanced, and de facto we may be seen as recognizing him as a nuclear weapon state, which is precisely what we want to avoid.
From your perspective, what is the minimum level of success for the United States walking away here, and for that matter, for Kim Jong Un?
Well, for Kim Jong Un, I think he already has achieved his minimum level of success, which is having this meeting. I think for the United States, we need to get some kind of clear commitment to denuclearization that can be the basis for follow-on negotiations. No one expected we would solve all of our problems in one meeting, and I think the president scaled down his expectations wisely in the last few days. But if we don't have anything even close to a commitment to denuclearization and some kind of commitment that there will be verification and full cooperation with the international community, then I'd be worried, because follow-on negotiations will have no set goal, and we'll be really back to square one.